happy when you called me and told me that you were so inspired by our talk that you wanted to start your own podcast. Like,
Yeah.
that means so much to me. You have no idea.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, like literally when we finished the podcast, I was saying this is something I could really get passionate about, you know, just being able to dive deeper and everything like that. Casey, the guy who does tech for us, he set everything up. He's like, "Oh, who do you have coming on?" I'm like, "Oh, just this person who's worked on House of Dragons, Joe Rogan, Mike Epps." And he was like, "Oh, that's so cool. Just that first credit is insane."
Yeah.
And so that's awesome.
Yeah, I honestly don't need to change my resume ever again.
That is huge. Well, cool. Well, I wanted to welcome you. Every guest gets a little intro. And so, Kayla Windsor, professional camera operator based in Arizona. She is also a photographer, a podcast host of therapy sessions. She started her career at 16 by attending local raves and shooting photos and video. She did such a good job that she started to tour with electronic music artists and fell in love with media. Kayla studied and graduated from NAU with a degree of electronic media and film production. She's gone on to work on the following projects: Game of Thrones, House of Dragons, comedy specials for Joe Rogan and Mike Epps, a golfing documentary called Full Swing on Netflix, Unstoppable with Don Cheadle, Secret Service with Gordon Ramsay. Welcome to On Target Talks, Kayla.
Honestly, when you list off those credits, it sounds like I'm pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, you are pretty cool. That's absolutely.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's all happened in the last, 3 years.
That's insane.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Is there anything else you want to add or anything else that you got going on?
Those are, the biggest caliber things that I've done. I've done a lot of, reality TV shows, like 90 Day Fiancé, Last Resort, and, 3 seasons of Ancient Aliens, and, a lot of crime TV.
I love crime TV.
Yeah. So I like to just tell people about those, the first ones you listed.
Yeah. Do you prefer doing, movies, specials, or, actual, television shows?
I love movies so much. If I could do movies all day, every day, I would do that.
Yeah.
That or narrative TV shows with storylines.
Yeah.
Because those are 8 episodes of a movie because they're all an hour and a half long. And,
right.
So that would be what I want to do.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So I know I mentioned a little bit how you got your start into, cinematography, film, photos. Can you elaborate a little bit more? What was that experience like going from raves to touring and then jumping into, full-on productions?
Yeah, so I used to go off-roading with my dad all the time, and we had a Jeep Wrangler, so we could get to places that, no one else could really get to, and we would see all these beautiful things. And so my dad bought me a camera so we could take photos of all these, animals we would find and, all these, abandoned cars out there, and it was just really a beautiful place. So he bought me a camera, and I started photography out there in the desert. And then a lot of my friends started going to raves, and I talked my parents into letting me go to raves because I didn't want to sneak out. I was like, I'm going to either sneak out and you won't know where I'm at, or you can know where I'm at. And so I found out that if I had my camera in my hand, I could get let in for free because they wanted photos.
Right.
So I kind of snuck that in there. But then they started liking what I was doing, and so they started paying me for the photos that I was taking.
Wow.
So then some of my friends became musicians. They became DJs. And some of them got signed to labels, and they went on tour. So I went on tour with them. And I was just taking photos at the time. But at that time, the music industry kind of went from just photos to video. And so I switched with the industry.
Wow.
And I was actually the first person in Arizona to ever do an after movie of a music festival.
Wow.
I'm going to claim that because I was number 1. I did it. I beat everyone else.
Oh, that's amazing. What festival?
It was Dirty Disco.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, back in the day.
Oh, man. Shout out.
Yeah. So after that, I went to NAU for college, and it was just a theoretical teaching experience, so they didn't really do any hands-on teaching at all.
Yeah.
I was totally self-taught. I didn't really learn anything from NAU besides like rejection.
The best lesson of all.
Super important in the film industry.
Yeah.
Which I'm grateful for. But yeah, so when I got out of NAU, I didn't really know what to do because I actually quit the music industry because there was a lot of drama that happened.
Right.
And I wanted to go into film. And so I just Googled film production in Arizona. And there was a website that popped up called the Arizona Production Association. And I called them and I was like, what do? I don't know what I'm doing.
Right.
And literally the next day they were having like a speed dating thing where a bunch of production companies would sit down and like you would only have 7 minutes with them and then they'd ring a bell and you could go to the next table.
Okay.
So I got there and there was one production company that had just a line out the door. And I was like, okay, well, I'm not going to get a job with them. So I just went to everyone else. And one of the people that I sat down with, I said something that rubbed him the wrong way. And he was like, you can leave now. And I was
You're
like
kidding.
Devastated. So I got up like before the bell rang, and I turned around and the production company that had the line didn't have anyone sitting at the table. So I sat down at that table and I was just like, I don't know what I'm doing. And I was just like defeated and I just crumbled into the seat. And he was like, do you want to start tomorrow?
What? That's quite the jump.
Yeah.
You're kidding.
Yeah, so I got a 6-week internship on a TV show called Women in Prison.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and ever since then, it's just been word of mouth, and I just, like, skyrocketed ever since, like.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
So what, when you sat down, like, I mean, that's pretty abrupt where you're just like, I feel so defeated.
Yeah.
And then you get this huge break, and then you get on a TV show. Like, how did... Like, was there... I'm trying to connect how that happened.
I think he was just, like... He enjoyed the fact that I was so honest.
Yeah.
Because I just slumped in the chair. And I was... Instead of being professional, I was just like, I have no idea what I'm doing here. Like, I don't belong here, obviously. And he was just like, let's start tomorrow.
That's incredible.
I was shocked.
I'm shocked. Like, man, like, I don't think I've ever interviewed and have them... That's incredible.
Yeah.
Wow. So that was that your first TV show that you worked on?
It was my first TV show, and I was a production assistant, which is like the bottom level you can start at.
Yeah.
And then I had to climb the ladder up to the camera team, which has like 5 or 6 layers in the camera team as well. So I had to start like at the bottom of the camera team and then go up 4 or 5 levels there.
So explain to me and the audience, what are those layers? Because, I mean, everyone has seen a movie. If they haven't, they're crazy. They don't know necessarily what goes on behind the scenes. So tell me a little bit kind of what that looks like.
So most movies have probably 3 cameras.
Okay.
Most of the big ones do, at least, maybe more. And so each camera has a camera operator, a first assistant camera, which pulls focus, and they build the camera. So, like, if you have to put it on a crane or something, they make sure that the crane is balanced and whatever. They take care of the camera as much as possible. And then there's a second assistant camera that makes sure that all the batteries are charged and the camera's turned on, and they change lenses.
Okay.
And they also clap the slate, the thing that you guys see in front of it. Yeah, so they're the ones that do that. And then they have camera PAs, production assistants on the camera team, which they're like the intern and they don't really get to touch anything, but like they're learning. So the stuff that they're allowed to touch, like not the expensive things, then you kind of are like, you can touch that, go grab that thing.
Right.
So each camera has 4 people assigned to it.
Okay.
And then there's a director of photography, which is the main department head. And he's the one that creates the movie and then tells the camera operators what to do.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. I remember a long time ago, I think it was, I don't remember if it was Tom Cruise or Christian Bale. He like freaked out at a DP for, I forgot what it was. I think it was on Terminator or something like that. And I always thought it was just the guy who takes the pictures, not like actually like getting everything organized, being that department head. That's awesome. That's fascinating.
Yeah.
So what's your like favorite like role to play like in the production side?
I like camera operating because out here in Arizona, you kind of have to be the director of photography because we don't have big enough sets where you have the full team. So the director of photography, their job is to light everything. They work with the lighting team to make it the vibe that they want, and they work with the camera team to get the angles that they want.
Absolutely.
So out here, as the director of photography, you're also the camera operator most of the time.
Okay.
But on big sets, the director of photography doesn't touch the cameras at all. And so I would like to be a camera operator because I want to be the one in the action with the camera in my hand, actually being the one that's grabbing the footage that you see.
Right. Like getting in that flow state as people are acting and everything.
Exactly.
That sounds so awesome.
Yeah, it's so much fun because especially when you have good actors and good lighting and good sets, the art department's really good and everything. Capturing the moment, like in the right angle with the light perfectly and the actor getting their lines perfectly, they land in the right spot, and it's just this like synchronicity that you just feel all of this adrenaline that holy crap, like did you guys feel that?
Yeah.
And it's just like a high, and if you can get it done like that every single time, it's just, you know.
That's absolutely incredible. Like capturing that lightning in a bottle. There's like this esoteric moment where everything just works and you capture it, and it's a great feeling.
So many people to get it done.
Yeah.
You know, because like I could be in the right spot, the lighting could be in the right spot, but the actor doesn't land where they're supposed to. So we have to try it again, and then sometimes we don't have enough time, so it's not the best. And sometimes it's my fault, sometimes it's other people's fault. But like when everyone's on the same vibe and you get those shots, it's like everyone cheers. You know,
yeah.
It's so fun.
Oh, that sounds incredible. What a high. Yeah. Absolutely. Do you have like a specific memory of like your favorite memory of working?
That's a good question. I've never been asked that before.
Oh, there you go. We like to ask the hard questions here.
Yeah. I think just because at the level that I'm at right now out here, we don't get a lot of movies out here. And when we do get big movies, they bring like the whole team from LA. So I'm working as one of the assistant cameras, not really as a camera operator.
Yeah.
So I haven't really gotten to work with a lot of like really good talent. Like A-list actors and things like that as a camera operator. So to answer your question, as it's my camera operating, it was my first movie I ever did as the director of photography and camera operator. And I was in Atlanta shooting a horror film in the middle of a hurricane.
Oh, no way.
At night, because it was a Sasquatch movie.
That sounds awesome.
It's actually not that bad. Like, the storyline is pretty solid. You know, it was really, I didn't have any team. It was just me and a sound guy, and the sound guy was an actor.
Okay.
And so all of the actors helped me light it, and so I was teaching all the actors how to light things, and then they would have to go act. But just the difficulty of it, and like, I didn't even remember because we were just so time crunched, and it was like raining, like hurricane winds and everything. I don't even remember what the shots even looked like until I just got sent the footage like a month ago.
Okay.
And it is such a beautiful movie that I'm so proud of it. And looking back on the footage that you shoot, you go back to where you were at in that moment, and you remember like all the problems that was happening, and like, or the not problems that were happening, you know, if we actually worked out. And so that was probably the most fun I've ever had.
Oh, that's awesome. That sounds so great.
Yeah. And so I just dream of getting back to that, you know, full time. If I could do that full time, that's what I want to do.
Yeah, absolutely. So from my understanding, you know, with any kind of, I don't necessarily know if this quantifies as like kind of like more of a gig, like career where you get jobs, you know, like acting, you know, picking up jobs and stuff like that. So I know that a lot of your work has come from word of mouth. So is there anything you do to like try to chase after jobs? Like try to explain that to me, I suppose.
There's websites that you can make profiles on that people will post jobs on. Like if they're coming to Arizona, they'll just post it on there and you can reply. And you can have your resume on the site so you don't have to do any work, you know?
Yeah.
I don't really get jobs from those anymore since I've raised in the ranks because they're looking more for assistants. And sometimes I'll take some assistant jobs just for paychecks, you know?
Yeah, of course.
But there's also the organization I called when I first started, Arizona Production Association. I'm actually on the board of it now.
Wow,
which
no
is
way.
a huge accomplishment. But that's an online directory of all of the vetted film crew out here. We make sure that everyone that's listed on our site does a good job. So we call the producers that they've worked with and make sure that they did a good job, because if they didn't, then we don't want them representing Arizona.
Right.
So I'm listed on there too, but mostly my Instagram gets me work.
Interesting.
Yeah. So I've posted just behind the scenes for years, the kind of cameras that I've built so people can know that I know how to use those cameras.
Yeah.
And then like behind the scenes of like the shots that I've done, because most of my movies aren't out yet, so I can't post them yet, which really is unfortunate. But I just have not a huge following, but enough of a following where people from like all over the country know about me. And so when their producer friends are coming to Arizona, they're like, you have to hire Kayla.
Yeah.
And it's just been like still word of mouth, but just because I've gone viral a couple times just for my camera, like holding a huge camera that like, it's a male department. So females holding a huge camera is like, oh my gosh, she can do that.
Right.
It's a lot better now, but like when I was just starting 8 years ago, it was like, how can you hold that? So it was a huge thing to go viral. And so I got a lot of people to follow me, and it's just been word of mouth ever since again.
That's incredible. That's
Yeah.
so cool.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So I know you're here based in Arizona, and I know you mentioned a little bit about, it's not a, it's not in LA. So what do you see as the future for production out here in Arizona?
So I work with the government right now, and there's a couple of film organizations, the Arizona Film Office, the Phoenix Film Office, the Arizona Media Coalition, the Arizona Production Association, and Arizona Filmmakers. We just met with the mayor of Phoenix and the governor of Arizona, the president of the Phoenix Police Department, and ADOT to build infrastructure so we can get some more government funding to funnel into our film offices, to hire police officers, to close down roads, because a lot of like A-list actors require 2 cops on set at all times, each actor, and it gets really expensive. And so like the Phoenix Police Department doesn't have enough police officers to give us police officers, so they have to hire more police officers in order for us to make bigger movies. So it's just a very complicated system that we're trying to like teach the government like what it is that we need from them. But I would lobby for a tax incentive bill to be passed. And we just got it passed 2 years ago, where we get $150 million a year for if someone makes a movie out here, 20% of it, they get it back.
Wow.
Yeah. So however much money they spend out here, they get 20% back.
That's amazing.
Which it's not anywhere competitive to a lot of the other states, but it's something.
Right.
Yeah.
What would you say other states, like their incentives would look like, if you know offhand?
So Texas just passed one where they have $2.8 billion a year.
Wow. Yeah.
And I think it's 30%, and they don't have as many requirements. So our requirements are you have to shoot in a 10,000 square foot studio, and we don't have one.
Right.
So we've been trying to get one built, but we had Sony out here trying to build a soundstage, but they backed out. And then we had other investors come in, and they backed out. So we don't know who's going to come in and build this soundstage for us.
Right.
So that's unfortunate. But there's like other parts of the incentive where you're allowed to shoot like in the desert on location and stuff, but you get less of a percentage because you're not in a sound stage.
Okay.
And then also you get more of a percentage too if you edit it out here. But you have to be in a accredited editing bay. And we only have one.
Interesting.
Yeah.
What is an editing bay for those who don't know?
So in LA they have like huge buildings with like $50,000 computers like lining the walls, and so like when you get a Marvel movie with like IMAX level quality camera footage, it's super fast, and you have like 100 people working on the movie.
Wow.
Editing it and like doing all the visual effects and things.
Okay.
So each computer is one editing bay, and we only have one editing bay, and it's not a $40,000 computer. You know,
Right.
it's like some dude on a laptop with a TV screen, you know.
Okay.
But what's nice about technology nowadays is like you don't need a huge computer to edit a movie.
Yeah.
Like you would if you're making a Marvel movie, but technology and computers are super fast now, and cameras are better quality, and you know.
Yeah.
So that's what sucks about the incentive is like, why is it mandatory to have an editing bay when we can edit it at our house?
Exactly.
You know, so we're trying to get that changed.
Yeah.
But honestly, I don't see too much changing for like the next 5 years.
Right.
But we're trying.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely, it's hard when there's LA where that's what they do, as opposed to out here where it almost seems like an auxiliary of LA. So you touched on something that was actually going to be one of my questions. And so I've studied a little bit in cinematography, a little bit, and I was scrolling online the other day, and I ran into an opinion where this individual was making the argument that movies don't quite feel like movies now, and mainly because 20 years ago there was a lot of errors, the cameras itself, not high quality. And so what he was arguing is that the movies now are hyper manicured, where everything is just so specific. You can CGI anything. Is that, in your opinion, something where it's just a sign of the times? When Instagram initially came out with filters and everything, everyone was arguing that it was losing kind of the spirit of photographs and everything. But in reality, that's just kind of the era that we're in. What are your thoughts, and where do you see kind of the future of that?
So I don't study other people's films, which a lot of people actually get mad at me for, because they're like, you're a cinematographer, you should be studying the greats. And for me, it's like, I don't want to study someone else's work because I will unconsciously copy what they do.
Of course.
And like to what you were saying, like the lenses are really what's changed things, because they're so sharp and so crystal clear.
Yeah.
So a lot of people go to the old lenses to make it look more film. And that's kind of what I do as well. And so like the way that I shoot movies is like more handheld things, so it looks like you're in the movie, depending on the scene. But
right.
I just don't agree with all of the technology now, like doing like the FPV drones just because it's cool, and like, yeah, okay, somebody did it in like Ambulance, and that was really cool, the movie Ambulance, and it's super cool. But like now, if everyone's doing it, it gets annoying. So that's why I don't want to copy everyone.
Yeah.
So that's a hard question. Like, I agree with that. It's just so boring sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Feels sterile.
Yeah. And like, people are trying to shoot things differently, and it's like off-putting in certain ways. Like, have you seen Severance?
Oh, no, I have not. Yeah.
It's like the most like it's the most irritatingly shot TV show I've ever seen, but it's supposed to be that way. They did it on purpose. But for me, it's just like, why would you do that? It just isn't right, in my opinion.
Right.
So, like, people are trying to do things differently than before, but I don't think there was anything wrong with what was happening before.
Right.
Yeah. So that's upsetting, but, like, I mean, there's no wrong way to do anything, but it's really just the lenses that are super sharp, and, like, there's so many pieces of equipment that make everything so smooth now.
Yeah.
And the reason why we use those now is because most of the time back in the day, let's say we had a crane, right, that would be lifted into the air. Mm-hmm. And we would have a guy with a camera strapped to the end of it.
Wow.
But humans are lifting him up and they drop them on accident.
That makes sense.
So people would get hurt all the time.
Yeah.
Or people have died a couple times because they're in the way of, like, race cars. You know, to get the shot of, like, the front end of the race car driving past, they're standing, like, right next to the road, and people have gotten hit and killed.
Wow.
So they've created all of this technology in order to not have a camera operator in the way. Mm-hmm. But then that's made it inhumane. Like, it's more robotic because we're using so many robots to do everything now.
Yeah.
For the safety of the human beings, but it takes the humanity out of it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's really, really interesting when you look at movies and how they're shot, and, you know, this might not even be true, but from my understanding, typically, like, the FPS is like 24, mm-hmm. somewhere around there. Mm-hmm. And you know, if you do like 60 or even more, it looks weird and off-putting. Mm-hmm. Can you speak on that at all?
The only reason why you would shoot that is if you want to, like, the hero shots, like, of someone, like, getting up when they're beaten down and they're, like, gonna fight back again, you know? And
yeah.
So it's like they get up off the ground and then they speed up back to 24 frames per second. But, like, if it's specific shots that you use that for, mm-hmm. you would never shoot, like, a whole sequence with that frame rate.
Yeah.
You know? Mainly also because it takes up so much card space and you need so many terabytes worth of hard drives, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. I was studying film a couple years ago, and I thought that was so weird because one would a normie would think, you know, we want as many frames per second, but mm-hmm. doing the 24, it's more interesting and mm-hmm. and everything like that. Man, that's absolutely incredible. So when it comes to film and everything, we've seen a decrease of people going out to the theater and going and experiencing movies all together in a community. We've kind of seen a transition over to, you know, things coming out in streaming and everything like that. What do you kind of foresee for the future when it comes to releasing films explicitly?
I think it's heartbreaking that people don't go to the theater anymore. Mm-hmm. I think it's, like, the reason why you go to a movie is for the audio and the huge screen and to be with other people, and, like, it's made specifically for that experience, you know?
Yeah.
And when you're just sitting in your living room at home on your, like, 4K TV and no sound system, like, you're not getting the surreal experience of, like, surround sound and all this stuff. Like, not a lot of people have surround sound systems in their house.
Oh, yeah.
So that makes it harder for us because we want to make the best art we possibly can, and we mm-hmm. want it to be shown in the best way it possibly can.
Completely.
The future, it's also really unfortunate for us because when we have to release our movies on streaming services, we get a lot less money because it'll go to Netflix and Hulu and all that stuff because they take percentages, and, like, we don't actually know how many views we're getting because they don't release it.
Right.
So sometimes, like, Netflix, I've never sold a movie yet, but this is just what I've heard. Netflix will pay you an upfront fee, but if you would have made more money than what the upfront fee is, you'll never know. Right. So you're just making just so much less than you would have if you were in theaters.
Yeah.
And the competition is so huge. And so like Netflix isn't even looking at people anymore because they just have so much content that they don't care.
That makes sense.
Yeah. So I think there's just going to be competition of new streaming services coming up, and just trying to get ways to put money in the actual artists' pockets rather than into Netflix's pockets.
Yeah.
But they're going to have to compete with Netflix and Hulu, you know, so it's kind of a lose-lose situation.
Being in the arts it's such an interesting place to be, especially with the advent of AI and AI actors and stuff like that. What are your thoughts on AI in film?
I love the memes that are like, why are we having AI make movies when it should be like doing our laundry and washing dishes and stuff like that? Like, what are we making? Like the fun stuff? Like, why are we taking that away from human beings? So that's how I feel about it. I'm not necessarily worried too much about my job because there's going to be people out there that don't want to use AI. And so I would say that those people may use AI in the form of like creating a monster, you know, or something, but they're not going to have like camera operators as like a robot, I don't think. But I just think that it's going to be like animation, you know, like cartoons and stuff. It'll just be AI made movies. And it'll be a separate entity. Yeah. And then I think that people are going to appreciate human-made movies more. Completely. So I'm hoping that's the case because, like, AI is getting way better now, but it's just it's going back to, like, there's no humanity in it. And it's just so empty. Like, it can try to learn us, but they'll never be us. And so I just hope that after this, like, wave of everyone so excited about AI getting better, they kind of come back to, like, human-made movies.
If anything, I think it will almost emphasize the human content, if that makes sense. Yeah, I kind of think that it will be more of a novelty, you know, seeing, oh, this is so cool. I wrote a prompt and this is what happened. Are you familiar with the Uncanny Valley? Do you know what that is?
No.
Okay, so there's our lizard brains have a specific thing called the Uncanny Valley, where if we see something that is not quite human, we feel immensely uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Because it's something where it's imitating something that's real life, and it's actually fascinating why we have that, because that seems like a weird instinct that humans have. Yeah. So it's like, why do we have the instinct, you know? Oh. But anyways, so same thing with AI, where it's not necessarily going to be in that threshold of being fully human and having those characteristics. Yeah. So I think it'll be interesting to see the first AI feature-length movie. And I'm trying to think. There was a movie called Spirited. I think it's Spirited Within. I think it was a Final Fantasy movie that came out 20 years ago, and that was kind of the realization because the animation was so close. And that's why cartoons like Big Mouth, where it's clearly, or like any kind of Pixar movies, the eyes are overly big so they don't look human.
Yeah. I think one thing that would be super cool about AI is recreating actors that are passed away. Yeah. Out of like respect for like finalizing like the sequel or whatever of a movie, with of course the permission of the family or them if they signed a contract before they passed away. Right. But I think like that's really cool. But that's like the only thing that I think would be really cool. Yeah.
Kind of give new life or respect of those that have passed and everything like that. Yeah. So just switching gears a little bit. So we talked a little before we were fully rolling. I was on your podcast, Therapy Talks, or Therapy Sessions, excuse me. And really cool concept. So tell me a little bit about that and tell me kind of the future of it.
So therapy session is about mental health and just the struggles that people go through. We want people to just express like their full vulnerabilities in a raw form, in the ways of like you would never actually ever tell anybody these stories. And just to come out with it, because everyone just needs to be open about things. And so we come at it wanting to hear stories from people that actually suffer from mental health issues, rather than hearing from like psychiatrists that just studied it and don't actually suffer from it, because they can talk all day about whatever they've read in books, you know, and seen in person in their clients, you know, but they'll never actually understand it. So I love the fact that I get to dive deep into like someone with ADHD, like how does it affect your life actually? Like, what's the definition that you feel? And so far it's been received so well. And it's crazy. And
you just won an award for that, right?
I did. And like, I didn't even know I was up for an award.
What was the award?
It was for, that's a good question. Brains Magazine. Okay. It's called the KRIA Awards. And it was just for my contributions to mental health.
That's so cool. That's incredible.
And it's only 3 months into the podcast being live. And they had contacted me to write an article for them. And I guess like my submission of the article made me eligible for the award.
Wow.
And they just emailed me and they're like, hey, it's like 100 people got an award. So I'm on a list of like some of the biggest like podcasters there are, like Jay Shetty and like Deepak Chopra and some other people. I was like, I'm on the same list as these people. Like, what is happening? So that was really surprising and really cool. But the reason why I started it was I just have a lot of haters. And it's been, like, weighing on me a lot. And, like, in the film industry in general, there's just, like, stories that have been made up about me for years that have spread everywhere. And so some people won't work with me because someone said to someone else that said to them this story that isn't even true. And so I got to a point where I was like, I was trying to defend myself. And when I was defending myself, they were like, see, she is the way that we said that she was. And I was like, okay, so my defending myself is making it worse. So I was just quiet and letting it happen. And it was just, again, weighing on me so hard. So I just wanted to tell my story. And so my co-host Alex came to me and he was like, let's just tell your story. And I had been thinking about it for years. And I was like, let's do it, you know? And I talked so much crap, just completely honest. And I really wanted everyone to know that I was diagnosed with bipolar, which made me, there's only one instance that is actually true where I did talk back to one of the biggest assistant cameras out here. But he was treating me horribly. And my personality in general is like, you're not going to treat me like that. So I'm going to tell you, you know. And
gotta let him know.
I had to. I can't hold it in. So he ended up blacklisting me from a section of the film industry out here. And so I can't work with like a lot of people because of him, which ended up being okay with me because I didn't realize how miserable I was working with that group of people.
Of course.
Because they're just haters, you know, and they were all treating me horribly. And so I finally snapped on him. And it wasn't even a snap. It was just like, you're extremely rude and like, I'm not going to deal with you. And so, but it was just hurtful that it got turned into this thing of like, Kayla's crazy. She's super emotional. Like, you'd never know when she's going to blow up on you. And I was like, I only did it once, and it was over text when he was attacking me first. And I was just like, I literally said to him, this is word for word, you sound like a 5-year-old boy.
And that was it. That
was all I said.
Wow.
You know? So I didn't talk about that in particular on my episode that I was telling my story, but I just wanted everyone to know that after that incident happened, I was then diagnosed with bipolar, and I was on the wrong medication before, which ended up like causing all of these problems for me.
Yeah.
And once I was diagnosed, then I got on the right medication and like started doing a bunch of inner work and like therapy and all of these things in order to calm myself down and like understand my triggers and like just not be as emotionally triggered by people who are hazing me and treating me horribly,
right.
you know, just to protect my reputation. And so when I told everyone in the video that I had bipolar and I released it, everyone was like, thank you so much for being so raw and open about your experience, you know?
Yeah.
And I don't think that the people that it was meant for ever watched it, but like everyone else watched it. And so like I just know that people have more of an understanding of who I am now. And it was just so cool, the reaction to it. And I actually didn't have any plan to make another episode.
Oh,
like
no way.
I didn't think it was going to be a podcast. I just wanted to tell my story and release that.
That's incredible.
Yeah. But I had like over 100 people be like, when's the next episode? Can I come on? And I was like, well, I have a podcast now.
Accidental podcast.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah. And now I've won an award, like a global award within 3 months. And I have a wait list of like 50 people.
Wow.
Yeah. And so it's kind of taken over my life. And I'm hoping that it can kind of turn into like a profitable business for me.
Of course.
Yeah. We'll see.
That's so exciting. There's so much value in being able to be raw and authentic. We're lied to every single day. As soon as we, you know, put our pants on, like we're being lied to. So the fact that you felt comfortable talking about your experience and story, you know, that resonates with people because people want that, you know, kind of circling back to the AI conversation. People value authenticity and people just saying their truth, you know?
That's been my personality, and that's what's gotten me in trouble. So everyone has like they're like on the fence about me because they're appreciative of me because I've like stand up for my crew.
Yeah.
If someone's like putting us in danger, I'm the one that's like, stop everything right now. We're not going to do this. But like the people on the other end are like, she's hard to work with. I can't believe she stopped set because we put everyone in danger, you know? So it's like, how could you be upset with me because I'm trying to save all these people from you?
Right.
And so that's just, I've just been this like devil's advocate and like protector of all these people, and people take it the wrong way. But I just know that that's part of my journey now is like, I will take all the hits because I'm the first one to do it, so that the younger generation doesn't have to deal with it.
Absolutely.
So in this podcast, it's just who I've been, and people have kind of expected that of me. And so when I opened up in the way that I did, more so, they weren't necessarily surprised, but they were like surprised, you know? Just that someone had the balls to do it. So it's really been fun because the requirement to be on my podcast as a guest is you have to be as raw and vulnerable as we are. And like we do, like if you're uncomfortable saying a story, like you don't have to say it, but we encourage you to, because there's hundreds of thousands of people in the world that have gone through the same thing. And like to hear someone else who's like successful in their life or not just makes everyone feel so much better. And I even, because when I expressed that I have bipolar, I've had like 6 people come to me and they're like, I just got diagnosed too. Can you like meet me for coffee and like kind of explain to me how you've gotten through it? And I'm like, wow, I never expected like that these people had bipolar. And it just gave them a safe space to talk to someone about it. And even like all these other people felt safe to talk to me about all their traumas and stuff. even if they weren't on the podcast yet, they've all like just came to me because I was so vulnerable, and they've told me and gotten their stories out. And it's kind of been hard for me because I'm an empath, and so I took all of their energy. But it's just been really nice to be someone that can take that burden off their shoulders.
Yeah.
You know?
Absolutely. And giving them an outlet to be able to speak their piece and everything like that.
Yeah. I've had a lot of people that have been on the podcast call me later and be like, thank you so much. Like, I feel so much better now. And when their episodes come out, like, all of their family and friends watch it, and they're like, oh my gosh, we never knew any of that happened. And like, they're just getting to like heal their relationships as well, because like they never had the balls to like express it to their friends and family. And in the podcast, they were in a safe space in my living room, because we film it in my living room, and they're just it's an open conversation. And so like in their family and friends watching it, they're like, wow, you've never said this to me, why haven't you said this to me? And so they're like healing everything in their life just by us recording a conversation.
That's so awesome. That's incredible.
Yeah.
Like the fact that it just kind of organically happened. You just wanted to say your piece, and you know, it turned into this thing it's changing lives. You know, I think that's so impactful. Butterfly effects. Like, you know, if you're able to change, you know, people at the micro level, that's going to do incredible things for the community.
And I've even heard that like a couple people who have like started their healing process after being on the podcast, they're helping other people, because other people are reaching out to them being like, holy crap, thank you for being vulnerable. And so now it's just this like trickle effect of now those people will help the next people. And I just never expected that this was going to do anything like that. You know, it was not my intention at all. And so now I feel a responsibility to continue, because so many people are kind of depending on it, and they're like waiting every week for me to post the next one. And it's kind of hard for that pressure, you know, but it's been so much fun.
That's awesome. It sounds like something that you've really developed a passion for.
Yeah.
So where do you see the podcast grow in the next, say, 5 years?
So right now we're focusing on getting influencers on, and like we're trying to get like a couple NFL players on, and just people with big followings, so that we can get more viewers and kind of get just the word out a little better, and also just to get people at that caliber to open up about their struggles and stuff, and kind of make them more human and relatable, but mostly about the views.
Right, of course.
So we just interviewed yesterday a Olympic cheerleader, who is 22, and she was like the most inspiring person I've talked to in a while. So even though she has like 500,000 followers on Instagram, and that was kind of our intention of talking to her, I was like, this conversation is going to change a lot of lives. Like, I'm so grateful for this, you know? So we're trying to focus on just getting more views, getting more subscribers. And on YouTube, you have to have a certain amount of subscribers and a certain amount of watch hours in order to get monetized. And once we do that, we can get sponsors and things like that. So we're just hoping that we can just make a little bit of money off of it, just because like I bought mics for it and stuff, and if I just get enough money from it to replace the money that I bought the mics with, like, I'll be happy. You know?
That's a win.
So we're not gonna give up, but even if it doesn't make any money, it's just been so fun, you know? And I think it's just changing people's lives, like you said, and so it's worth it in that sense. But we're also working on designing some merch, which like it'll be later on that we release it, when we have an actual following, you know, because like right now it's like I'm just gonna give out free shirts to all my friends, but we want to start kind of like a clothing line instead of like a merch store that is really unique and just has like positive affirmations on them, and like we have like an affirmation jar we want to create, and like little stickers and things just to like create
That's
like a
so
community.
Cute. I love that.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah. So it's a lot bigger than we thought, and we want to just make it so that like when they follow us, they can like take home something from our podcast, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know.
So where can the viewers, where can they find you? Where can they listen to your podcast?
So we're mostly on YouTube right now at Therapy Session Podcast. And then we're on Spotify, Apple Music, Facebook, and Instagram and TikTok.
There you go.
Yeah, we're trying.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's so awesome.
Yeah.
Well, right on. I've gotten so much out of our conversation. You are such a fascinating person, you know, for the film, you know, being here in Arizona, the podcast. Like, I appreciate you coming out here and, you know, spending some time with me, communicating all the things that you've learned, your experiences. What's next for you? Like, what do you see yourself going?
So I've been trying to build the industry out here in Arizona, and like I said earlier, it's probably not going to happen for another 5-ish years.
Yeah.
And I just don't have the time for that.
Yeah.
I've already kind of wasted a few years because I hit the tops of the ceiling like 6 years ago.
Right.
And so like I'm a big fish in a tiny pond, and it's just detrimental to my career at this moment.
Of course.
And so I have to move somewhere. And so the best case scenario is moving to England.
Okay.
Because my mentor lives out there.
Right.
And he shot every episode of Game of Thrones.
Okay.
And he's working on House of Dragons. And so he's the reason why I got to work on House of Dragons in 2023.
Yeah.
And if I moved out there, I would be D camera operator, which is the 4th camera down of the level of importance.
Right.
I would be the D camera operator, and I would skip starting over again and climbing the ranks. They would give me the job that I want on the biggest show in the world.
Yeah.
So it's kind of hard to sit here in Arizona knowing that they're shooting season 3 right now, knowing how much money I would make and being able to shoot the best show in the world.
Yeah.
And I'm not. So the problem is the kind of visa that I need to get is extremely difficult to get because it needs to be a freelance visa.
Yeah.
So I can't just get a job at like a Starbucks and like just get a visa like that.
Yeah.
Because I am not allowed to work anywhere else than the Starbucks, or else I would get kicked out of the country. So that's a struggle and a half. I won't go into detail about all of the requirements, but that's what's stopping me right now.
Okay.
And it was just like, of course, like being close to my family, and like I was raised out here in Arizona, and I love Arizona, and I just wanted to support the film industry out here as much as I could.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of like one of the faces of Arizona film, and like there was a couple years ago where I was talking about moving to England, and I had people that I didn't even know commenting on my Facebook, like messaging me and calling me saying like, if you leave, Arizona's gonna die.
Wow.
Like, you cannot leave us right now, and like put the whole weight of the film industry on my shoulders. And I felt just responsible for being the face of Arizona film. And it's because like I'm one of the only ones, I say one of the only ones, but I'm really the only one that is like openly, constantly posting like how good Arizona is, so that the outside world can see that we're really good out here. And so I just have felt that pressure for years, but now it's a situation where like when I got blacklisted from that group, they do all the high-end commercials that pay the most, and so I make a lot less money now.
Yeah.
Which is fine. But when a big movie comes out, those guys I'm actually the first person to call, which is very surprising. But those guys are the second, third, fourth, fifth to be called. And so I just know that they'll never give me the opportunity that I would give them. And so knowing that no matter how much work that I'm doing to grow Arizona, the people that would benefit from it won't be grateful and they won't include me. And I'll just be out here by myself still. But what's nice is when I'm the first call, like, they can't control that, of course. So I'm very lucky that that's the case. But then it just hurts to know that even them knowing that I'm the reason why they're getting these opportunities, they still will never include me. And so it kind of destroys the reason why I'm doing it. So the past like 2 weeks, actually, I've just been kind of trying not to give up on Arizona, but I've just reached this point where I can't grow here anymore. I haven't grown here for years. I've reached my peak so long ago, and I just need to be in an environment that I'm with the best of the best, and I'm learning every day. And I'm getting better every day and practicing my art every day and getting paid well for it. And so probably in January, I'm going to start making the moves to probably move to England.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's exciting.
Yeah.
I mean, new transitions, new growth opportunities, getting in that bigger pond. Yeah, man, that's exciting.
Yeah.
That's really exciting.
Yeah.
Well, right on. It sounds like you have a really bright future ahead.
I'm shooting for an Oscar one day.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm like keeping talking right now, but
well, that's the point. That's why we're here.
Right? Yeah. I have 3 movies that I'm writing and a TV show that I'm writing all at once, which is taking forever.
Yeah.
But one of them is like Avatar level budget, which is crazy, and so it'll take me like 10 years when I have all the big time production studios like backing me, hopefully.
Yeah.
But the other ones are like, there's one, I won't say too much, but one of them is like a coming of age story where it's a road trip around Arizona. And I want to showcase Arizona's like beauty. And like when they go on the road trip, it's showcasing every single landmark of Arizona just to show people how beautiful Arizona is and kind of respect where I grew up. And so I'm super excited about that.
That sounds awesome.
Yeah. And I'm going to shoot it. This is too much information, but whatever. I'm going to shoot it. So, you know, Planet Earth, where they shoot like time lapses for a couple of years of like ant colonies and like trees growing and like really high definition, like 3D kind of just nature. I'm going to shoot it like that.
Wow.
But put actors in it.
Okay.
I don't know if that makes sense.
Yeah. So like over time, like the same actors and everything like that?
Yeah. So it's going to be difficult because like it's high schoolers. And so I have to shoot the scenes with the humans in it pretty like close together because they'll grow up and get older and they have to look the same in the movie.
Yeah.
But the goal is to... So I've been, like, taking notes of, like, what times of year is the most beautiful for which, like, landmark is out here. So, like, for example, the Chocolate Falls. Do you know what that Chocolate Falls are?
I do not.
It's up north, and, like, when the snow melts, it's just this, like, muddy river, and it's this brown, muddy waterfall, but it's, like, the most beautiful thing in the world.
Wow.
But it only happens for, like, a week in February or something like that.
Okay.
And so like I have to shoot that in February, and then like later on like saguaros are blooming in the springtime, you know, so I have to shoot that in the springtime, and you know, so like I've been just writing down when nature is the best of the best so that I'm shooting Arizona in the most beautiful way. And so it'll take, I have to sign the actors, like their contracts have to be that they're on call for a year. So I'll have to pay them probably for an entire year.
Wow.
Even if we shoot like one weekend and then 2 months later we shoot another weekend. And it's going to be very difficult. It's a very difficult movie.
It sounds like a very intricate, a lot of moving parts.
Yeah.
That I would watch it 100%.
It's a really beautiful story. I won't go into it because I don't want someone to steal it. But I'm going to be very proud of it.
I'm excited to see it once it's all done and everything.
Yeah, it'll take a few years, but yeah.
It'll be worth it. Most things are, if it's not worth the magnanimous effort, it's probably not going to be great. So I'm excited to see it.
Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, right on. Well, thank you so much for coming on. I appreciate it. And yeah, I'm excited to see you grow. Do you want to plug where people can find you?
Yeah, I'm mostly on Instagram at Imaginarium. It's EMAGINARIUMM. That's where I mostly post, and so you should just find me on there.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Well, sounds good. Well, thanks for being here.
Thank you.
Yeah,
great. It was so much fun, like getting to see you again too, because it had been 10 years, and then your podcast episode just dropped yesterday on my podcast.
Yeah.
So it's been so fun to reconnect, and thank you for having me on yours.
Yeah, absolutely. Hopefully, we'll have you on again after you've moved to London. We'll do a follow-up episode.
I'll come back and visit and tell you all the crazy stories again.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, right on. Well,
thank you.
Yeah, enjoy the rest of your day.
Yay.
Yeah.